I heard that if you have a broken Canon camera, Canon will let you upgrade it and give you a big fat discount, so hang on a second. Before you go doing something all crazy, let me explain how the Canon Upgrade program actually works. My wife, Leila, was a photographer, professional photographer for many years, and she had eventually upgraded to a Canon 5D Mark II, which is kind of cool because that's really the camera that started the DSLR video revolution. It was a full-frame camera that shot really, really good-looking HD video. In fact, the very first videos I ever posted on my real estate website, Jones Home Collective, were shot with that camera. The only bummer was it didn't really have autofocus when you were doing video, so that was kind of a bummer, so I needed to get the Panasonic that I'm recording this thing on right now. She hadn't been using it much lately, but she broke it out recently and helped my son-in-law shoot a wedding. And in the middle of the wedding, the thing just stopped working, and she has a lot of like really nice glass for that camera. So she called Canon, I was like, hey, my camera's broken, I want to send it in. But Canon said, well, your camera is out of service, we can no longer fix it, but we can offer you a discount if you want to upgrade it. So that's when I took over. I called them back and did some research and figured out what my wife wants. Now, Leila doesn't really want to learn a new system. If it was me, I'd be getting, one of the brand new R series Canon cameras if I was going to upgrade. But she's like, I know how the 5D Mark II works. I'd like to kind of stay in the same vein and get something that's, a little bit newer, obviously. But she didn't want to have to learn a new system. And she has a lot of really nice glass for that camera, which is EF and not that R glass that you need for the new Canons. So I figured out that probably the 6D Mark II would be the one. And I called them back, and they explained to me how the program works. Then I called them another time to find out even more information. So in this video, I'm going to share with you everything you need to know to upgrade your Canon camera. And when I say everything you need to know, everything I was able to garnish with a couple phone calls to Canon, because there is really not much information online. I think Canon intentionally doesn't have the information there so they can keep the information fluid, don't have to update their website about which cameras you can and which cameras you can't. And also, maybe they don't want to super promote it. I don't know, but I'm going to promote it right here. Hopefully they don't mind. So how does it work? Well, if you have a Canon camera or lens that is either broken beyond repair or is out of service, meaning they will no longer fix it because it's so old, they will allow you to upgrade your camera or lens. And it's camera for camera. If you got a broken camera or an out of service camera, you can upgrade it for another camera. If you have a broken lens, you can upgrade it for another lens, but you can't do camera for lens or lens for camera. Every household can do this up to 3 times per year. So that's pretty cool. If you've got multiple Canon cameras laying around, you could potentially upgrade all of them depending on their current working condition. Now, how do you know which cameras are out of service or beyond repair, something that Canon will no longer repair? You actually have to call them. To do anything with this program, you have to call them. There's a number in the description below. I just put it there and not on screen because they may change it. And when you call that number, you may have to wait a really long time. I was on hold for 50 minutes the last time I called them, but the representative was super helpful and explained everything that I wanted to know, everything I'm going to share with you right now. So which cameras can you upgrade from? Any camera that is out of service, so a pretty old camera or beyond repair. When you call Canon, you want to make sure that you got your camera with you because they will ask you for the serial number. Once you give them the serial number, they will tell you if it is eligible to be upgraded. If it is out of service, it's automatically eligible, even if it's not broken. If it's broken, they will tell you whether or not they can fix it. And I specifically asked, well, what if somebody tries to scam you and go, hey, my camera's broken? And they're like, we kind of know. But please don't try to scam them. Don't try to take advantage of the program. If you have a camera that is out of service or is broken beyond repair, then go ahead and give them a call and upgrade it. Oh, I almost forgot. You don't have to send the camera in. All you need is a serial number. Now, what can you upgrade to? You can upgrade to a lot of the cameras, but the ones that are excluded right now, I was able to find a few that are excluded, are primarily the newer cameras. Canon just released the Canon R3, that's excluded. Other cameras that you cannot get right now include the Canon R5, the 1DX Mark III, and the M50 Mark II, because those are newer cameras. I did not go through their whole lineup. I just asked about those specifically because they interested me. So what can you upgrade to? I specifically asked about the M50, which is a generation old. Yes, you can get that one. Can you upgrade to the 6D Mark II? Yes, you can get that one. And you can even upgrade to the Canon R6 because maybe it's not as popular and it's older than the R3 that was just released. As far as other ones, you would have to call them to know specifically. I think you may be able to get the 5D Mark IV because it's an older camera. You might be asking yourself, Trevor, why did you upgrade to the 6D Mark II? That's an old camera, it's several years old. Why didn't you get the 5D Mark IV? Well, the 5D Mark IV is actually older than the 6D Mark II, and my wife's not shooting professionally anymore. She's just doing it for our travel channel, Life Untethered, and for thumbnails for me and stuff. So she didn't need the latest and greatest, but it's a serious upgrade from her last camera, the 5D Mark II. So how much of a discount can you get? You can get either 15 or 20% depending on the camera you are upgrading to. The lower end cameras and lenses, it's going to be 15%. The higher end cameras and lenses, it is going to be 20%. So if you're upgrading to something like the Canon 5D Mark IV, you can get something like a $540 discount because that camera is like $2,700. Don't quote me on that, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure because it's an older camera, you can upgrade to the 5D Mark IV. So can you upgrade from a lower end camera to a higher end camera? And apparently you can, from what I understand. I've got a 30D. I think I could have gone all the way to the 5D Mark IV, upgrading from a 30D. What about downgrading? The 30D was a DSLR. Could I downgrade it to a Canon M50? And yes, my understanding is that you can do that as well. Right now I'm shooting on a Panasonic Lumix GH5, and I'm going to be upgrading that pretty soon. I've had it for about 4 years. Knowing that I've got a broken 30D, what camera do you think I will be upgrading? Will I go Canon? Will I stay Panasonic? Will I do something else? Knowing that my primary purpose is video, go ahead and post in the comments below your guess on what Trevor Jones, who likes video, is going to be upgrading to. Go ahead, post in the comments below, and hit like and subscribe while you're at it. If your camera is beyond its service life, you do not have to throw it off a roof. Just call up Canon and say, I've got a camera and I'd like to upgrade it, and I'm pretty sure they'll let you upgrade it even though it's not broken because they want you to stay in the Canon family. As far as Leila and her 5D Mark II, Canon wouldn't fix it, but I found a place I'm sending it to that might be able to fix it, so we may have two good cameras. Now, that 30D, even though Canon won't fix it, I'm sure I could find somebody else to fix it, but it was old and a piece of junk and would have cost probably $300 to fix a camera that isn't worth anything, so we're not gonna upgrade that one. It was more fun to throw it off the roof. Well, it kind of didn't fare too bad. It kind of came apart back here and that cracked and all. Do you think it'll turn on? Let's see if it'll turn on. Lens went back on. It flashed error 99 as soon as I did that. Let's see if it'll do it again. Nothing. I think this guy is done for good, but the funny thing is none of the glass actually broke, just all the plastic junk. Maybe we should make the whole thing out of glass. It just powered on for a sec. Listen. Whoa. It's possessed.
Finish her!
The next video I'm going to create for you is when is the right time for you to upgrade your camera. There is a right time, and I'm going to put that video right there when it's ready. In the meantime, it's going to be the video that YouTube thinks you want to watch. Hit subscribe. I can't wait to see what your next camera is. In fact, go ahead and post in the comments below what your next camera is going to be.